Okay, go ahead and on your piece of loose leaf, title it Multiply Decimals Practice. Your homework tonight, again, is over just multiplying decimals, not estimating. But before we do these, we're going to mentally estimate them so we can see what our answer should be close to, and that's an easy way to check and see if our answer is reasonable. I want you to write page 393, because that's where these examples are coming from. You do not need to get your book out. Just write page 393, because that's where these numbers are coming from. Okay, the first one is 2.49 times 3. 2.49 times 3. Who remembers the rule from yesterday? What is my rule for multiplying decimals? There were 2 bullet points. Bryce? Okay, so for a second we have to ignore the decimal point. So Caden, if I ignore the decimal point or decimal points, what math problem do you see?
2 times 2.
If I ignore that, you can't make numbers disappear. Okay, so ignore the decimal point, but don't make anything disappear. What numbers do you see? I think you're overthinking it. Abby?
249 times 3.
249 times 3. Caden, do you see that now? Yeah. So you just have to pretend this decimal point's not there, but you can't make numbers disappear. Okay? So the math we have to do is 249 times 3. To get that answer, it doesn't matter if you use algorithm. You could use lattice. If you like partial products or area model, you could use those too. As long as you can find the answer to that question, you're on the right track. So everybody go ahead and do 249 times 3, any method you choose. Now, before we actually give the answer, just looking, 2.49 rounded to the nearest whole number, Jude. What's 2.49 rounded to the nearest whole number? 2. What's 2 times 3, Jude? 6. So we should get something close to 6. A lot of people who mess up, they mess up because, 1, they don't put a decimal point at all. Is 6 anywhere near 747? No, okay, so that's not reasonable. Who remembers in our rule how we decide where to place the decimal point? Parker? Harper?
You see how many places there were after the decimal point and the number
in the problem, okay? So what was the 3-word rule for adding and subtracting decimals? 3 words. Maya? Line them up. Okay? If I'm putting this rule in 3 words just to help you remember, it's count them up. Okay? Line them up is add and subtract. Count them up is multiply. Which that means count up the decimal points places in the problem and your answer has to match. And this is something I want to see. It's a visual thing. Okay? So I want to see you counting. 1, 2. So underline those 2 decimal places. You're showing me that, hey, I took the time to count the decimal places. And then we have to make the answer match. Where do I start? Bryce?
7.
Yeah, which 7? No, we start on the far back side, so the far right. So then I count 2. 1, 2, and my decimal point goes in front of that. So I can see that I have 2 decimal places. Now, that is my work step. What do you think I want you to do for your answer? Write it out, nice and neat. Okay, I will tell you, a lot of you can't read your own handwriting. And you might get it right there and then write it wrong. Slow down. Make sure if you did all the hard work, you write down the correct answer. Okay? So ignore the decimal point, multiply like normal, count up the decimal places in the problem, and make the answer match. Let's do another one. This is actually number 5, but I'm going to change it a little bit. 3.4 times 0.7. 3.4 times 0.7. Brant, what math problem do I need to do? 34 times 7. 34 times 7. So I want everybody to work out 34 times 7 any way you would like. What'd you get, Dominic?
238.
238. Do you guys agree with him for that? Okay. Now, just let's get our estimate, because again, this estimating, it doesn't take long, but it can help us see if our answer is reasonable. What would we round 3.4 to? 3. What about 0.7?
1.
What's 3 times 1?
3.
3. So we should get something close to 3. Is 238 close to 3? No. Nope. How do I decide where to put my decimal point, Kendall?
You count how many decimal places there are in the problem,
And then
and then add the decimal.
And then I make my answer match. So I'm going to I want to see that you're counting. So show 1, 2 in the problem. Where do I start from, Bryce?
The back.
The back. 1, 2 in my answer. And then we put the decimal point so that both of those underlined numbers are decimal places. Haley, what should I now do?
No, write it out.
Yeah, I write my answer. I did all the hard work. Now I'm going to say that this is equal to 2.38. Make sure your decimal point looks like a decimal point and not a speck that no one can see but you. Is multiplying decimals that difficult? No, the hardest part is knowing where to put the decimal point. Okay? Let's do another one. I'm just going to start making them up because mine are harder than the book, but they're not super hard. We'll just call this one number 7. It's not number 7. But we'll call it number 7 because the other one was 3 and 5. Let's say 0.18 times 0.4. 18 hundredths times 4 tenths. Lori, what math problem do I need to do?
18 times 4.
Okay, 18 times 4. Everybody go ahead and work that out. 18 times 4. Reese, what'd you get?
72.
72. Do you guys agree with her? Okay, because 8 times 4 is 32. Regroup. 72. Now what, Brady?
You count how many decimal places there are in
Okay? Count how many decimal places there are in the problem. So it doesn't matter where you start because they're on both sides. So I count 1, 2, and there's another one over there. You have to do the whole problem. So there's 3 in the problem. So how many decimal places do I need in my answer, Maya? 3. Where do I start? Go ahead. At the back. And I go to the left. So there's 1, 2, 3 decimal places in my answer. Bryson, what do I do?
Add a 0.
Where?
After the 7.
In front of the, so right here. So 0.
Yeah.
Where else do I need a 0?
After the list.
Yeah, as a whole number because there's nothing there. Now, the reason it goes there is, 1, I need 3 decimal places. But 0 point, don't write this because this is wrong. That's the common wrong answer. What did they do?
They put 72 in front of the 0.
Okay, nope, but how did they come up with that? Kendall?
They changed the value.
That is a different value, but that's doing it like Bryce told us to the first time. That's starting at the front and going that way. They would get an extra loop or an extra 0 at the back. Do those have the same value? No. Okay, that's why I say start at the far right, the very back, and you work your way this way towards the whole numbers. Now, let's check, and again, that's wrong. I'm going to write this out. 0.072. Remember, if we don't have a whole number, just put in a 0. Let's estimate 0.18. What would that round to? Parker? Nearest whole number. 0. 0.4, Lori. What's 0 times 0? 0. If I'm talking money, this 2 would be gone. If you have 7 cents, do you have close to nothing? Yeah. Okay, so that's a reasonable answer. If you got 72, is 72 close to 0? No. Okay, again, if you're off, the errors you're going to make, 1, you're going to multiply wrong. But you're going to put the decimal point in the wrong spot. Okay? So there are a couple places you can mess up. I'm going to actually turn to the harder problems. On page 405, 393 was too easy for us.
Yeah.
So let's write page 405 is where these next problems are coming from. Page 405. Let's do number 5. Is 3.65 times 2.6. Now, let's estimate real quick. Brady, what would 3.65 round to? 4. Bryson, 2.6.
3.
What's 4 times 3, Bryson?
12.
12. So we should get an answer that's close to 12. Why is this a harder problem, though? Harper? They're bigger numbers. Even though our answer is going to be around 12 point something, it could be like 12.14567. Okay? There can be lots of numbers behind the decimal point, but we should get a number close to 12. So Jude, what math do I need to do here? 365 times 26. I'm going to solve it using algorithm. I want you to solve it any way you would like. And then you can look up and check your answer once you have it. And again, I'm just solving it using algorithm. Bless you. Is my answer 9,490?
No.
Nope. Sophia, how do I decide where to put my decimal point?
After the 9.
Well, how do I decide? I don't want to know where to go. How do I make that decision?
You count the numbers after the decimal.
So the decimal places in the problem. So 1, 2. Is that it?
No, there's
I have to look at both numbers. Sometimes both numbers have decimal places. Sometimes only one of them does. So I always have to look. There's one more. So I have 3 in my problem. And again, that's why I want you to underline. So if you're messing these up, I can come help you figure out what you're doing wrong. If it's Abby's always leaving off this other number, that's an easy fix. Okay? So then I have to do 1, 2, 3 in the problem. Now, I'm going to go ahead and write that 9.490. Okay? And that answer is perfectly okay. My 6th graders can give a little bit better of an answer. And again, that one's fine. That one is correct. What do you think I could do to that answer to make it just a little bit better now? Now that I know where the decimal point goes. Now that I know where the decimal point has to be, Dane.
Take the 0 off the end.
Yeah, I can't take it off here. Okay? I can't take off extra zeros until I have my decimal point in its spot. Okay? Because if you see, oh, there's a 0 at the end, I won't need that. Where would you have put the decimal point? Yeah, all the way in the front. So place your decimal point, write your answer. From there, look at it. If there's a 0 at the back, you don't really need it. Okay, but again, both of these are perfectly okay right now. Think you got the rule or you need more practice? Where are your mistakes going to be? Is it that you don't know how to do these problems? Bryson, what you going to do wrong? Or? Multiply. And multiplication will probably be the biggest error. Okay? Take your time. Take your time. You may either use this piece of loose leaf or get out a new one. But I want you to go ahead and get out a piece of paper. We're going to title it so you'll know what you're doing for homework. And you'll have the last 20 minutes to work. Title it Multiply Decimal Homework. I don't know if you'll have enough room. Just get a new piece. Okay? Then, on the top line, write page 393, 2 through 10, even. 2 through 10 even. What does that mean? Brant, what problems are you going to do?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Okay, so you have 5 problems on that page. Those were the easy ones that I said these are too easy. I need to make them harder. And then I went to a new page with harder problems. You're going to have a few from that page too. It is page 405. On that page, I want you to just do 2 through 10 even. Okay, so you have 10 problems total. The first page, you'll zoom right through. So don't go too fast because, Max, what are your mistakes going to be? Multiplication errors. Okay? So you have the rest of the time to work. Go ahead and get your books out and get started.